Hi, everyone. Let's go ahead and cover the seventh energy center, which is called divine power. And in the terminology of the core motivators, is called the reformer. So, people who are primary in this energy center are really grounded in the energy of self determination. What do I mean by that? So, by self determination, what I mean is that people with divine power really excel at being in touch with their personal power and using it to go out there and manifest. So they're exceptionally tapped into their free will, and they love to express their free will in the form of taking action and just getting shit done. So these people are really fast paced, they're very decisive, they know how to, just leverage resources really effectively to generate results. They typically are unafraid of taking risks, and that's because they are so confident of their ability to manifest that even if they try something and it doesn't quite work the way they envisioned it's going to, it's really not a problem. They can very easily course correct. So the power people, as I call them, the reformers, they really embrace change. It's very natural for them. Um, Freedom is really a very high value, and these people love to have options. So freedom for them translates into the ability to choose and to have multiple possibilities and to really be able to play with this concept of choice and free will. Um, because these power people are so in touch with their free will and their powers of personal manifestation, they also tend to be, really energetically attuned, and so usually very intuitive, maybe even clairvoyant. And so, they're also, because of this being in touch energetically, they're also, somewhat sensitive to other people's energy. And so they tend to be very introverted or internally driven. So where do you typically find the divine power people, the reformers? Well, they are the classic entrepreneurs. So, any activity or profession where you can think of entrepreneurial styles is where you're going to find them. And if they are not the classic entrepreneurs, oftentimes you will find people with divine power, these reformers, in positions of leadership. And that's because of their ability to just really quickly and rapidly get stuff done, to be able to identify and very effectively utilize resources. Um, the divine power people tend to rise pretty quickly into positions of leadership. So let's talk about the dysfunctional expression of this energy center. Um, Pretty much at the top of the list would be control. So let me explain what I mean by that. So the reformers, the divine power people, are so good at self-control that their dysfunctional expression can veer into controlling of other people, so boundary issues. And they're certainly not the only energy center to be challenged by this, but let me explain where this challenge comes from for people with divine power. So because they are so accustomed to taking rapid action, oftentimes people with divine power will experience impatience, and particularly if they're working with other people, right? And so, because of this impatience, because of this real strong desire to get stuff done now, If that's not happening, or if they're dependent on other people for creating something, oftentimes they can veer into over controlling other people. So veering across those boundaries, or by being impatient, instead of trying to control other people, they might just say screw it and go ahead and accept the responsibility, or take on the jobs or the responsibilities of other people, right? So, so there's that. The other area in which the dysfunctional expression can show up is what I call option overload. And so, because people who are primary and divine power are so enamored with freedom and possibilities, sometimes they can slip into an area of experiencing too many options, too many choices. And usually this is largely of their own doing, having generated lots of options by exploring multiple avenues. And so, this can actually ultimately slow down or interfere with the power people taking action if they're experiencing too many choices. It almost can send them into paralysis analysis. So there's that. So what are the antidotes to these things? Well, for the option overload, it's pretty straightforward. If the person is in that situation, they just need to pick a couple of things and continue taking action, and don't worry about trying to do everything all at once. And honestly, it doesn't even really matter which things that they choose to focus on, because their powers of manifestation are so strong that they're going to make things work out, and even if they have to bring in some of that course correction that they're so good at doing. The antidote to the impatience and the control challenges, well, that comes down to either refining their current situation or creating new situations where that level of independence is restored. And so, maybe it would entail moving from the more classic entrepreneurial situation to what is known as the solopreneur. Or if they desire to work with a group, that's great. If they're not already in a position of leadership, very deliberately getting themselves into that role so that they can take charge in functional ways. So yeah, so that's the dysfunctional expression. Those are the antidotes. This is a really fascinating group of energy center people. I just really love what I call the power people. And one of the things that I most love about Divine Power slash the Reformers is that in their mover and shaker mode, when they're like really highly functional and they're out there manifesting, what they're doing is they're really giving us the gift. So by doing their thing, they're showing us by example that each of us has the ability to tap into our personal power and to use our personal power and our gift of free will to go out there and create the stuff that brings us our deepest joy and our greatest fulfillment. So there you go, Divine Power, Reformers, just an awesome group of people that really know how to use this incarnation and the gift of free will to get shit done and to generate and create just abundance and joy and fulfillment. Love this group.